Perfect. One more second. Okay, amazing. Just bear with me 1 more minute. Setting up the Facebook Live so you can guys rewatch it as well. Amazing. Okay, so let's start. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for being here. And I'm going to share my screen. I have prepared a little presentation, and then towards the end, we're going to do the meditation, which is probably the coolest part about it. And let's begin. So as you know, I was really interested in sharing with you, sorry, just a second, how you heal your inner child. And I'm going to explain a little bit about why that's important, what that means, and for who it is. So I just wanted to start again. For some of you who know me, you know that I began my spiritual journey around 2 years ago. I had suffered from chronic depression in my teenage years. And then unfortunately during COVID, I developed anxiety, which was preventing me from being able to live my life normally. I had gotten fired. It was really hard to find jobs in Spain at the time. So I felt like my life was spiraling down. I felt really discouraged. And obviously, when a lot of people reject you, which we've all been through when we apply to jobs, and you suffer from anxiety or depression, this really diminishes your self-worth. And it makes it really hard for you to cope, even though ultimately it wasn't a personal thing. I mean, it happens to everybody, but the way that I took it was really hard for me. And I was also in a relationship where we were stuck at home. And it was just a lot of, I think, elements which came together and added to the deterioration of my mental health. Additionally, in the past, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I was really addicted to weed at some point. I was using it to numb my emotions. And so down the line, that also contributed to my mental health just again deteriorating, the anxiety getting worse. I tried medicine, it wasn't really helpful. And generally throughout my whole adult life or adolescence, I was struggling a lot with toxic relationships. I had really massive fear of abandonment. And so I felt like I always attracted people that mistreated me and didn't really respect me. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I think to start a spiritual journey, you obviously don't have to hit rock bottom. But it can be really tough. And I think me being through so many different things in my life has helped me relate to others a lot. And it has also given me the commitment that I needed to feel better because things had gotten so bad. My relationship with my family was deteriorating. I couldn't even talk to my friends at some point because I was really paranoid, and I would constantly cry when we would go out with my ex-partner. And when he would ask me what was wrong, I didn't even really know. And so this was really crippling, and it was really preventing me from living my life fully in a healthy manner. And I started meditating in 2021. I was really lucky because I really started receiving divine messages. I mean, I would see colors with my eyes closed, and I didn't know anything about the chakras. I really started from zero. I don't have a spiritual background. At that point, I didn't believe in God. I was suicidal. So the only thing I wanted to feel was to die, honestly. And down the line, I think seeing these colors, that gave me hope that I was on the right path, that there was something that I could believe in, that it could heal me. And this was basically the beginning of my journey. Since then, I've obviously come a really long way in learning about myself, healing myself. I don't suffer anymore from chronic depression or anxiety. I think the tools that I now offer my clients and my own commitment to my journey has absolutely turned everything around. I was able to cultivate a lot of self-love, to heal things from the past that I think prevented me from having dreams, following them, having partners that were really supportive and loving, and just connecting with people in a way that was healthy. And basically, that's a short version of my story. There's obviously a lot more, but I think this is to sum it up of what's happened to me in the last 2 years and how I got to being a spiritual teacher, and why once I was healed, I made a promise to the universe that I would always try to be the light that I wish somebody was for me. And that's a promise that I plan on keeping. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my qualifications for us just to go through them. I am really passionate about learning new things all the time. I am a qualified NLP practitioner, that's neuro-linguistic programming, EFT tapping practitioner, emotional freedom techniques. I'm an advanced mindfulness and meditation teacher. I am a life coach certified by the ICF. I'm also neuroenergetic wiring practitioner, a hypnotherapist. I do 2 types of Reiki Usui, and I am a Reiki Kundalini master. I am also a past life regression therapist and a theta healing practitioner. I absolutely spend a lot of my time finding different tools, as I know that people work in different ways. For me, meditation was a game changer, but I like to have an incredible toolbox because, again, I believe that people come from different walks of life. They learn differently, they implement different things. And I am very dedicated to reading and learning a lot of different tools, which can help a variety of people, even if they're sharing the same problems. And so I'm a firm believer of blending in science and spirituality. I obviously have beliefs based on things that we cannot see. And, me being a past life regressionist, I believe in reincarnation. But for example, neuro-linguistic programming is a lot about the mind. It's based on science. And so I always try to read books from therapists, from doctors, and from spiritual teachers. I truly, in my work, try to blend all of that in order to deliver quality work that can appeal and can be understood by people who share different beliefs, because I think that that's beautiful. And it's colorful. And and I'm also studying currently Tantra. And probably down the line, we'll do family constellations. As I said, I'm super passionate about learning a lot of things. So stay tuned on that. If any of those things interest you as well, you can always DM me, ask me about anything that you want to learn as well. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the other slide to load. Bear with me. Okay, this is stuck. Okay, so what is inner child work? Inner child work is a healing modality which helps us uncover our needs that were not met in childhood. And the healing happens through reparenting ourselves. It helps us deal with childhood trauma effectively, and it also helps us learn how to self-soothe and nurture the children in us through play and joy. It is almost close to meditation, but basically it works with your subconscious mind. Sometimes when we have gone through emotional pain or trauma in the past, it gets buried deep in our subconscious mind because it tries to protect us. But some of those memories are keys to the patterns that we hold today. Unfortunately, no matter how incredible your family was or how much they loved you and how nurturing they were, In the end of the day, parents are people who make mistakes and have their own soul journeys. And the reason why this type of work is so effective in psychotherapy is because it allows you, with the knowledge and wisdom that you have today as an adult, to reparent your inner child. And what that does for you is it gives you the power and the freedom to take the reins of your own well-being and to stop wishing that things were different, that your family did things differently, and to keep victimizing yourself and blaming them for not doing things the way that you wish they did, or in a way that would have helped you feel more loved, more worthy, right? So the point here is to move away from a mindset of being hurt, of being traumatized, and blaming others for it, to being empowered and to understanding what was it that your inner child or the versions of you, the younger versions of you needed back then that you didn't receive, but would have helped you have healthier patterns and self-soothing mechanisms. We're also going to talk a little bit about that. So in order for you to be able to recognize a wounded inner child, there is a lot of, I'm going to read these, but there's other ways in which it can show up in your life. Some of them are experiencing constant frustration and irritation in relationships. This would mean that when you fight with your partners or you have a disagreement, you lash out, you easily are triggered, and you have explosive reactions when your needs are not met. Again, these things show up a lot in romantic relationships, but they can also show in relationships with your parents if they were the trigger as well, relationships with your friends, even at work, right? Like, it's the inability also to control your emotions because you have triggers that you are not sure what they are. Throwing tantrums, childish outbursts, saying things you don't mean. I think we all know people or have been those people that when you fight with somebody you love, you say things you don't mean to hurt them because you don't know how to express your emotions in a healthy way. That's okay. We're not here to shame anybody. But this can be an indication that the inner child in you has felt neglected, that you don't feel heard. And so because of the memories that you hold from back then, those patterns are now transferred onto your relationships today. And so whenever you feel triggered, this is what happens. Again, as I mentioned before, a sign is difficulty communicating your emotions and why you're upset. That again can come in the form of punishing people by not talking to them, constantly shouting, saying things that aren't related to exactly what you're experiencing, like throwing blame, gaslighting, etc., instead of actually telling the person what hurt you and being vulnerable and open with them, which again is normal if you were never taught how to do this. So here it's just really important to mention that even if you see yourself in that, which I did in a lot of ways, and I sabotaged a lot of my relationships and attracted people that weren't the healthiest and best versions of themselves, that's okay, because if you weren't taught how to, then yes, the blame is not yours. But that's why today we're taking our power back and we're doing better, because you can always relearn different patterns, ones that work for you, ones that put you in situations that are healthy for you, and that promote self-love. And again, here is the next one is low self-esteem. This can be because you were really hurt or put down when you were when you were a child or young, or you weren't paid attention to. Immaturity, patterns of self-sabotage that can look in a lot of ways. Self-sabotage is not following through with your goals and going into patterns of guilt, shame, using drugs, alcohol, sex, validation of any sort to fill the void. Those are patterns of self-sabotage. Some people self-sabotage by constantly leaving places, running away from their problems. There are many, many ways. Others of not taking care, let's say, of their bodies, developing disorders, developing hatred for themselves, for their families. And not being able to get close to people. That's also a form of self-sabotage, and so many more other ways that this can manifest. Another one that I personally am very well acquainted with is fear of abandonment. In my other master class that was about attachment styles, fear of abandonment can happen when you have an anxious attachment style. And that means that your caregivers were there, but not always. And so you are so afraid of letting go that you get anxiously attached to people. That can mean that you get attached really quickly. Sometimes it's unhealthy and it's this push and pull sort of a relationship. And so what you really fear is that because sometimes you've received love and then other times you were abandoned, whenever you do get close to somebody, you constantly have this like notion that they're going to leave you. That's something that I constantly have to work on. I mean, inner child healing was a game changer in that department. But when it's a deep rooted fear like that, I think the healing is always something that you can reinitiate. And it's always a reminder that this is just a fear, it's an illusion. So fear of abandonment is a really strong one, depending on how you grew up. And then, as I said before, commitment issues are also a sign of a wounded inner child. If your family wasn't available for you and they weren't emotionally there for you, then it is very likely that you also grew protecting yourself, thinking that if you ever opened up, people would only disappoint you and hurt you. And so you lose faith. That can result obviously down the line in you not opening up to people and thinking that commitment is unnecessary and it's just not something that you really need, because deep inside all you want is really to protect yourself and to make sure that nobody can get close enough. And last but not least is the harsh inner critic. This really is the voice inside our heads. We all also do this. This is when you're constantly judging yourself, when you're constantly putting yourself down, whether this has to do with your physical appearance, with, let's say you've set goals for yourself and you don't achieve them and you repeat to yourself how unworthy you are, what an idiot I am, these sort of things that we say to each other, or God, I've gotten so fat, or I wish I had better hair, or I wish I was smarter, I wish I could sing. I mean, all these things that we constantly repeat to ourselves that create this space of lack and hatred sometimes towards ourselves. I mean, the harsh inner critic makes you feel like you are really hard to love and to accept, and it makes you feel unwanted and unworthy. How do we form beliefs? This is really important because, again, this has to do with when an experience happens to you as a child. It's not just the experience that shapes you into what happens to you today. It's the emotions around it. And you often aren't going to remember the experience itself, but you're definitely going to remember how it made you feel. There's also a saying that was like, you may not remember what someone said to you, but you will remember how they made you feel. And so the emotions obviously hold a much stronger charge. And these emotions and these experiences and the thoughts around them form beliefs. So we form beliefs, through our past experiences and the emotions, and also through the influence of others. When we're young, we're really vulnerable and open to learning from people that we look up to. That can be our caregivers, that can be our teachers, that can be friends, partners, anybody that we care about. It can be even friends parents of our friends, anybody that plays an important role in our lives as children or young adults, teenagers in school. We are like sponges. And so we often take things without really challenging them because we believe, we have faith. As kids, we're innocent. And so we trust people. And that's sometimes really good because some of the beliefs and values that we get passed on can be really positive and can shape you and build you into somebody incredible with really strong foundations. But on the other hand, depending on what those beliefs were, they can also sabotage you. And the other way that we form beliefs is through the repetition of the same thoughts. So if you constantly repeat something to yourself, it becomes a belief. For example, I need to be rich in order to be happy. If I don't have the perfect body, nobody will like me. Love is hard. Also, things like everybody will betray you. You can't trust anyone. I mean, these sort of limited statements that seem like the ultimate truth are called limiting beliefs. And this is how they're formed. Now, what are coping mechanisms? So when we do go through traumas or times of adversities, as humans, we have strategies that we use in order to handle those traumatic or stressful experiences. We're not going to go into too much detail about the two types, but I will give you an overview for you to have an idea. So there's two types of coping mechanisms overall. One is an active coping mechanism, which is a healthy mechanism where in the long run, it helps you build resilience and self-awareness when faced with difficult situations. The other type is avoidant coping mechanisms. Obviously, the difference between both of them, as active as avoidant, is one, you allow yourself in different ways to feel these emotions, to digest them, and to move forward, leaving the past where it belongs. Excuse me. And the other one is avoiding, like a band-aid, and basically covering the wound, but never really healing it. If you don't heal a wound, it festers. And when it festers, it comes back worse. And this is what happens to our psyche. Basically, if you haven't been taught coping mechanisms and down the line don't do the work to learn them, you start suffering from different physical manifestations: anxiety, depression, panic attacks, disconnectedness, physical illness in the body. This can manifest itself as anything. Avoidant coping mechanisms are only a quick fix to a recurring problem we're facing. The longer a problem is ignored, it really does fester, and the more serious it can become down the line, and it can manifest itself in something completely different than what it was initially. Now, I also want to share 4 ways in which we can build healthy coping mechanisms. The most important thing on your journey, the most important point, is to get to know yourself. In any environment where you're healing, whether you're working with a therapist, whether you're working with a doctor, whether you're working with a coach, in every case scenario, you are your own self-healer. People can give you strategies. They can present you with tools. They can help direct your mind in a way that's more positive. But without your integration and commitment to the work, healing is not possible. So first and foremost, in order for you to build healthy mechanisms, healthy coping mechanisms, you have to get to know yourself, your emotions, your triggers, and your deep-rooted beliefs, which sometimes aren't on a surface level. They're only available to you when you really start digging and digging and digging. And when you heal those, it has a domino effect, has a ripple effect on your life. The second thing is that you have to be absolutely brutally honest with yourself about where you are right now and where you want to go. It's a very human tendency. It's a human tendency to swipe things under the rug, to lie to ourselves mainly. Hence why we lie to others as well. Sometimes it's, trying to fake it till you make it, but not with anything positive. Because admitting that where we are isn't where we want to be can be really scary. And that's okay, but that brutal honesty is the only way that you can shine light onto the shadows and the things that are keeping you from being the best version of yourself, and ultimately help you release and decrease your suffering, because coping mechanisms are absolutely necessary. You never know what life will throw at you. And this is why coping with anything that comes your way is absolutely crucial for your well-being. Also, having a clear idea where you want to go. Finding support in others. We're social animals. We need the support of others. Though you may be your own self-healer, receiving love and support, especially if that's something that you didn't have when you were growing up, absolutely a game changer in your spiritual or healing journey. That can be family, friends, coaches, therapists, anybody who you feel you can be entirely yourself with and who has your best interest at heart. The other way that you can build healthy coping mechanisms is to rewire your mind to focus on the positive outcomes more than the negative. This again takes practice and work, and each one of us is capable of doing it. It can be done through various tools. Tools are available to everybody. What's important is the desire, the intention of doing so. And the other thing is the commitment. I grew up quite negative because the environment that I was in was always negative and not positive. Like I never saw things positively. And for me to change 25 years of how I was, took some time, but it was a conscious choice. And it was an everyday brick by brick building on that block. And I now am able, in situations of adversity and traumatic experiences or just painful experiences, to always try to strive to see what can I learn, how can this be positive, and how can I make myself feel better. Not necessarily toxic positivity. We are not trying to promote that, but it's not all about feeling happy. It's about suffering less sometimes. Just a second. Yes, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my program before we dive into the meditation. I currently offer a tailored one-on-one program called the Awakening Soul Activation. It comes in 6 different phases. The first one is laying a foundation to self-discovery. This is where you get to meet yourself deeply, to understand yourself better, how you work, why you work that way, and what is needed for then the second phase, which is releasing emotional pain and healing from the past. Obviously, the past has a massive effect on who we are today. And unfortunately, sometimes we carry the pain for way too long. Then phase 3 is harnessing your emotions, learning how to control them and to make them work for you instead of against you. You don't want to be a slave to your emotions. You want to have them work for you and to harness the power of emotions in order for you to feel good about life, because you're here to feel joy ultimately. Phase 4 is healing matters of the heart and your roots. This has to do again with emotional pain, but also being able to trust, being able to open up, being able to forgive. And your roots, your ancestral inherited trauma, your genetics, and just anything that has been passed on to you that is not yours to carry. Phase 5 is self-expression and authenticity. This has to do with you harnessing your ability to stay true to your values, to express yourself in a manner that's positive, that helps you connect to others deeply, and for you to be authentic without the fear of being judged. This is you stepping into your power in every way of expressing yourself. And then phase 6 is to alchemize your creative power. This is about manifestation, about calling in things, learning energetics, and how you can manipulate that in order to attract all your desires. My program includes 12 live calls in the span of 3 months. So each week, 1 call of 60 minutes. Additionally, you get unlimited support and access to me in order to be able to be fully supported by me and learning from tools like Tantra, Reiki, EFT tapping, meditation, breath work, states of healing, neuroenergetic wiring, NLP, hypnosis, past life regression, and much more. This is a client testimonial on the program from somebody that did the program with me. The results were amazing. It was really beautiful for me to watch these transformations. If anyone after is interested in knowing more about what I do, then you can DM me or send me a message on Facebook. And now the exciting part. So please, you have everything muted. So I'm also going to switch off my camera as this is going to be a meditation / hypnotherapy. I invite you to sit somewhere comfortable or lay down if you prefer, wherever you are going to be the most comfortable. I'm going to give you a couple of moments to just settle down. You can, lay down, put a blanket over yourself. We're going to take a journey inside your head. So make your body as comfortable and well rested as possible. I'm just going to give you another minute or two. You can also get some water, have a sip. It's good to hydrate. Okay, so I'm going to switch my camera off. I really hope you enjoy this meditation. It's honestly a beautiful healing journey. And I would also suggest, because there's going to be a recording in the Facebook group, for those who feel like their inner child was very wounded, you can repeat this meditation multiple times. So we're going to start. I'm super excited. We're going to start by you experiencing a quick induction of hypnosis. I just want to say, if anybody hasn't tried hypnosis, this is not like in the movies. You're always able to open your eyes. Nothing is hypnotizing you in the way that we see in movies. It's just a way of you to enter a deeper state of relaxation. So I'm going to begin guiding you now. I want you to close your eyes gently. No, sorry. Actually, I want you to keep your eyes with a soft focus on something in the room. It can be even the ceiling, just a really soft focus. And we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Just allow the breath to move through all of your body. And then at the top, we're just going to hold it for a couple of moments. And then I want you to exhale from the mouth and make it double as long, the exhale from the inhale. And then we'll take another breath. And hold it a little, and then just exhale. And just bring the awareness into the body and into the breath and how it moves through you. And now the induction. So as you're softly gazing into the point that you chose, I want you to close your eyes and see the number 10. And now you see the number 10 fade away. And then I want you to gently open your eyes again in that point. And then I want you to close your eyes again and see the number 9 right in front of you. And then the number 9 fades. And then I want you to open your eyes and again into the spot. And then you close your eyes, and in your mind, you see the number 8. And then the number 8 fades away. Now I want you to open your eyes again. And to close them again, and you see the number 7. And now the number 7 fades away. And now you open your eyes again. And now you close your eyes and you see the number 6. And now the number 6 fades away. And now you open your eyes and you close them again and you see the number 5. And the number 5 fades away. And now you open your eyes and close them again. You see a 4. The 4 now fades away. And again, you open and you close and you see the number 3, and the number 3 is now fading away. And you open and you close again and you see the number 2, and the number 2 fades away. And now you open again and you close and you see 1 in your mind, and that 1 just slowly fades away. Now I want you to imagine in your mind a hallway. And I want you to imagine this long, winding hallway with doors. You can even see what type of doors, what are they made out of? Each one of you can have a different experience. Are they wooden? Are they metal? Are they colorful? Are they plain? Just notice and play with your imagination. Just notice the doors on either sides of the hallway. Now I want you to begin walking down this hallway as you pay attention to the doors and you just observe them. And you're going to see a door that says last year. I want you to open it and I want you to look in. Now see a pleasant scene from last year. Notice where you are, how you're feeling, who you're with. And whenever you're ready, I want you to exit from that door and to close the door behind you. And now you walk to the next door on your right. I want you to open that door now and to see your adolescent self standing there. Notice what they're wearing. Notice what they look like. What is their energy like? Do they seem happy? Do they seem tired? Just bring a little bit of awareness to them. Observe them from the outside, your adolescent self. Now I want you to embrace them. And I want you to tell them, as you hug them tightly, that you know what they've been through. That you understand that life has been hard sometimes. And now I want you to tell your adolescent self that it's time to go home. Tell them that together you will need to go and get all of the other parts of yourself. That will be your infant, your toddler, your preschooler, school-age self. Now you take your adolescent self and you walk with them until the end of the corridor. You open the door and you look to see the earliest house you remember living in. If you can't remember very well, that's okay. Just if you could remember, what would it look like? Use your imagination. Whenever you're ready, I want you to go into the house. And I want you to find a room where your infant self resides. Now have your adolescent pick up your infant. Just imagine the adolescent self holding the infant self of you, that version of you that is so small, so innocent, so young. Now I want you to walk back to the corridor. And when you're there, I want you to open the first door on your left. Now what you're going to see is your toddler self whom you're going to take gently by the hand. Now open the first door on your right. And see your preschool self. I want you to take a look at them. What are they wearing? What is their body language? How are they carrying themselves? Do they seem happy? Do they seem sad? Do they seem lonely? Now I want you to take them by the hand and walk out of the room. Now find your school age self. Again, pay attention. What are they wearing? How are they carrying themselves? Do they look healthy, vibrant, or more sad, lonely, abandoned? Now ask them to take the adolescent's hand and walk out of the house. Now you're standing next to your adolescent self. Who is holding your infant? Your school age self is holding onto your adolescent's arm. And you are holding your toddlers and preschoolers' hands. Now you see your infant become your toddler. See your toddler become your preschooler. Your preschooler, your school age self. And then into the adolescent self. You and your adolescent self are standing side by side. Now you see your parents or caregivers come out of the house you lived in as an adolescent. I want you to have awareness for them as well. What are they wearing? How do they look? What mood are they in? You and your adolescent wave goodbye to them. You tell them that all of you are leaving now. You tell them that you know that they did the best they could. Now you see them as the wounded people that they actually are. People who make mistakes. People who get lost as well. You forgive them for the times that they couldn't meet your needs, for the times that they abandoned you or weren't available emotionally to you, the times that they disappointed you, let you down. You tell them that you are going to parent yourself now, that you will take care of you. After you wave goodbye to them, you begin to walk away from that house. You look over your shoulders and you see their shadow just get smaller and smaller and smaller as they fade away into the distance. Now I want you to look ahead of you and see a lover or a spouse or a friend waiting for you. That can be also a therapist, anybody who you love and gives you support. You see them there waiting for you. You can see higher power, God, angels, somebody you've lost. Whoever you see are all of the people that you need to see there. You embrace all of them. You know that you have support, that you are not alone, and you feel so grateful. Your heart is full. You know that you can create a new family of affiliation, that you have people who would do anything for you, and that you will never be abandoned again. Mainly because you have yourself, but you have so many people who love you. You can take a deep breath in, take in all the emotions and release them. Now let your adolescent become one with you. Pick an age from childhood and see the child within you at that age. Whatever comes to mind first, whatever age feels good to you. Now you tell that child that you will be their new loving and nurturing parent. You reassure them and tell them that you truly know what they have been through, the hurts and the pains that they have suffered, that you know life wasn't always kind. That you know that they've been hurt before, but you are here to protect them now. You're here to take them home and to be with them and to care for them. They'll never be abandoned again. You tell them that no matter how many people come and go in their lives and how many people they meet and share beautiful experiences with, they will always have you. They will never lose you. You promise them that you will always make time for them as you look them straight in the eye and hold them close. And you tell them you love them with all of your heart. And if it feels good, you can embrace that child. Hold them close. Wrap them up in this beautiful pink light of protection and of care. For you will forever carry that child with you until your last breath. And so you want to protect them and to love them and to care for them and to care for their needs. And now you can take another deep breath. And now in the screen of your mind, you're going to see the number 3, 2, 1. And just gently wiggle your hands and your toes and just bring the awareness back into the room and into the body. Before you open your eyes, I want you to thank yourself for showing up today, for holding all of the versions of you, for doing the work, for being open and vulnerable to reparent and heal yourself, for that is such a beautiful strength to have. And you can take another deep breath and open your eyes and come back into the room after you've thanked yourself and you've shown appreciation for being here. And I'm thankful that you showed up today. I hope that this was insightful. You can always redo the meditation. You can do it as many times as you want. You can always uncover new things. The recording will be on the Facebook group. So if you ever want to refer to anything as well, you can. If you're more interested in deepening this sort of work as well, please feel free to message me. And other than that, it was such a beautiful pleasure to hold space for you. I wish you nothing but love and light. Namaste.